Since the dawn of time, humanity has been trying to take care of themselves. And one of those ways is making food. Today, with a population of over 7 billion, we face a new set of problems which we haven't faced for eons and eons. In fact, we believe we may be running out of food. So, to counteract that issue, what happened to agriculture was it became industrialized. In other words, it became an enterprise. The agricultural enterprise encompasses the entire cultivation, processing, and distribution of agricultural products from farm to table, as well as the regulation of all levels in the process. This definition of agricultural enterprise comes from a presentation called The Agriculture Enterprise, conducted by John Chaney, Brittany Howne, Mark Moran, and Ellen Tran. But what could possibly be wrong with turning agriculture into an industry? Don't we have to feed everyone? Doesn't everyone need a certain amount of calories to live each day? Well, that's true, but we also have to consider the idea of what happens when we mix nature with industry. Is this how it's really meant to be, or are we helping our society less than we are harming it? But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at what the GAP report has to say. This is the Global Agricultural Productivity Report that's released yearly. We're looking at the 2014 copy. According to this report, by 2050, the world's population will increase by 1/3, which is about 33.7%, from 7.18 billion to 9.6 billion people. What's even more scary is how much more food we'll need to support that population burst. According to this report, from 2013 to 2030, poultry and egg demand will increase by 63%, milk by 55%, and ruminant meat by 44%, all of them outpacing the population growth. Also, from 2013 to 2023, world per capita fish consumption will increase by 9%. That will reach 20.9 kilograms per person in 2023. So now that we've heard a bit about what we'll need, let's hear about why meeting those needs might be more detrimental than we ever thought. So let's first think about simply agriculture, like what we grow in the field. Because the Union of Concerned Scientists wrote an article on the issues of industrial agriculture, and at the core of that is food production of things such as corn, wheat, soybeans, cotton, and rice, among other things. The problem is, most of these are produced in monocultures, which have been responsible for widespread species loss. Then let's look at the production of meat. According to this article, and I quote, "In the industrial system of meat production, meat animals are finished, prepared for slaughter, at large-scale facilities called CAFOs, where their mobility is restricted and they are fed a high-calorie, grain-based diet, often supplemented with antibiotics and hormones to maximize their weight gain." End quote. I would now like to turn to an interview, which was conducted with my father, Mark Moran. He is currently out of town at a symposium, so we did this over email. Here are some of the pertinent answers he gave us. The first question we asked was, firstly, can you talk about where you went to school and what you do for John Deere? He replied, I have a BS in engineering from the University of Illinois, an MBA from the University of Iowa, and an SM in system design and management from MIT. I'm working on my PhD in socio-technical systems at the Stevens Institute of Technology. In terms of what he does for Deere, he says, presently I'm in IT operations at Deere. Across my career, I've been in manufacturing engineering, supply chain operations, research and development, and advanced marketing. I have a wide variety of roles. The next question was, what's your opinion for how the ag industry is pushing for quality over quantity? His reply was, that's a great question, but it's tricky. What does quality mean? Is it organic? Is it whole foods? Is it less chemicals? Is it non-GMO? Is it smaller carbon footprint? Is it less water per bushel? Is it giving the customers what they want? Part of what makes quality tough is that it's subject and often ill-defined. By contrast, quantity measures are easy to define, e.g. 200 bushels per acre of corn. The next question we asked was, if the world made a transition back to smaller family farms, how would John Deere adjust to that demand? He said, the world is still on smaller family farms. It's the US and a few other advanced economies that are not. But look at farming in India, Africa, and much of China. Most of the world is still subsistence farmers with an acre or two to feed their family, like the US was a century or so ago. Skipping ahead a bit, the challenge, if it happened overnight, is that we have a productivity gap. We need to just about double the food output between now and 2050, growing population that wants to eat better, step function increases meats become part of the diet. You know the story. www.globalharvestinitiative.org is a good place for more info about the productivity gap. To do that, it feels like we need lots of output. If the market demanded more local fresh and that drove us to build more small tractors, we would adjust. That's what great companies do. For more smaller family farms, we need more efficient use of our inputs, less waste during transportation, and a few other things like that. The final question we asked was, what's the biggest thing you want to see change in today's agriculture? He said, I think water consumption is the one I worry about the most. Fresh water is so central to human flourishing, and ag, industrial or family, is very water intensive. Getting the right amount of water to exactly the right place when it is needed is the one problem I would like to see solved. Thank you for listening. Now let's roll the credits.